What's up, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. Some interesting updates in the Carmelo Anthony case, as well as 4 other videos planned today for some interesting updates on the new Superman movie, Tim Pool, and a disagreement I have with Tim Pool's take on what's going on with Pam Bondi and those files. So you're going to want to lock it in, leave a like on the video, make sure you subscribe or follow down below so you never miss an update. There's some interesting stuff. First of all, we've got a lawyer who is saying that Carmelo Anthony's family is leading to more years in prison for him based on some of their behavior. We'll take a look at that. We'll also take a look at a new report on the Next Generation Action Network, the fraudulent organization that was initially set up, tapped to defend Carmelo Anthony. Looks like they've been fired, asked to step away, and instead the family has reached out to Charleston White to spread wild lies about the Metcalf family, which we talked a little bit about in yesterday's video, and so much more. Let's get into it. By the way, the best way to support the channel is to check out my coffee company, coffeebrandcoffee.com. We have all sorts of stuff available on our website, but this Friday is the last day to order your summer legendary pack, which includes a bag of Kona coffee, which is extremely luxurious, our brand new Tiger's Blood and Blackberry Cream flavors, a signed, numbered thank you card, as well as our construction coin, coffeebrandcoffee.com/summer to pick yours up today. Let's start with the update on Dominique Alexander's big lie. Carmelo Anthony case exclusive update. Dominique Alexander caught in yet another lie. This is Carmelo Anthony's representation. By the way, this is from Sarah Fields, who is doing excellent work keeping this case alive, keeping the information flowing. So if you haven't yet, follow Sarah is Censored on X. Let her know I sent you. I've obtained a copy of the surety bond form. This record shows that a man named Lidio Ortiz paid for Carmelo Anthony's bond. Ortiz runs the, quote, Bring 'em Home 24/7 bail bonds in Fort Worth, Texas. No, it is not normal for a bondsman to actually pay the bond. So if you've never bonded anybody out, I've only bonded someone out once in my life. And that was Stick Hexenhammer. But you pay a bondsman, you pay the bond, and then the bondsman secures that amount. So if the bond is $100,000, a bondsman will guarantee that bond for 10%, say. So your bond amount you have to pay is $10,000 instead of $100,000. Why did the family's, quote, advocate, Dominique Alexander, lie again? In a much earlier post, Alexander claimed that a pastor named Corey C. Tony, the owner of No Limit Bonds, actually paid the full amount. Lidio Ortiz has multiple possession charges. More intriguing are the multiple businesses/LLCs that he's also affiliated with, including Brigham In Investigations. Lidio Ortiz is a licensed private investigator under Malik Rashid, according to records. Why did Dominique lie to cover for Ortiz and then throw his other friend, who has no connection to the bond, under the bus? He even tagged Corey Tony in the post. I reached out to Dominique Alexander for comment yesterday morning. He did not respond. So you see the handwritten surety bond here filled out for Carmelo Sincere Anthony from the undersigned, Bankers Insurance, from Bring 'em Home 24/7. It's held under bond of the state under the sum of $250,000. $750,000, which is payable to the state of Texas. In addition to, then you see Lidio Ortiz. I do swear that I am worth in my own right at least a sum of $500,000 after deducting from my property and all, basically saying I can pay for this bond. You have your Bankers Insurance Company who signed for the $250,000 to have, I don't know why these numbers are different. So the bond amount was $250,000, but then on this it says $750,000, unless that's a 2 That might be a 2, but it really looks like a 7 to me, 750,000. And then down here it says I'm worth at least 500,000. I don't know. We're worth at least double. By the way, it seems like everybody involved in this is some sort of scammer, in my opinion. Here's Dominique Alexander's post. Pastor Corey C. Tony, who has, again, multiple arrests, the owner of No Limit Bail Bonds, and a respected business leader in our city, quietly stepped in and covered the entire bond amount for Carmelo Anthony free of charge. But that was a lie. That never happened. Why lie about that? He also owns this Bring Him In investigations as well. Very weird. Dominique Alexander named the wrong bond company. The one he claimed was involved is nowhere on the paperwork. Hope he helps more readers understand. You also see Lito Ortiz's rap sheet. You have a possession of weed. Don't really care. 2 charges for possession. I don't care about that. I don't care about weed. It's a dumb thing to be illegal. But it's very, very weird. Basically, everybody around the Carmelo case is some level of criminal. Let's not forget, the Next Generation Action Network, which is run by Dominique Alexander, is a fraudulent organization run by felon Dominique Alexander and is being funded by George Soros affiliated money. Dominique Alexander is currently advocating for the Carmelo Anthony family. He has publicly admitted to assisting with Carmelo's Give, Send, Go and securing legal defense for him. While Dominique Alexander refuses to release financial reports and has not filed a financial statement for his organization since 2020, I sure hope somebody lets the IRS know about that. Other left-wing organizations have filed IRS Form 990s, which show funding for the Next Generation Action Network. Dominique Alexander's 501(c) has received money from at least 3 George Soros-funded organizations: the Tides Foundation, BVM Capacity Building Institute, and Resist, Inc. Meanwhile, NGAN has not filed a single tax report since 2020. It sure would be a shame if somebody reported that to the IRS. I think people should report that to the IRS. I think tax fraud is a serious crime. I think it should be reported. I think it should be investigated. Based on a full investigation, NGAN brought in 6 figures as of 2020. However, no financial reports have ever been filed since then, which violates federal law. NGAN has filed only 2 IRS reports since its inception in 2014. According to federal law, organizations are required to file annual returns of their income and expenses with the IRS service. Records also show that the organization received a grant from another entity called Good Work Dallas, which shares the same registered address, which could indicate potential money laundering. The Tides Foundation gave NGAN $25,000 cash, and you see all of the paperwork. BVM gave them $7,500 cash. They got $7,000 cash from Resist. Very, very interesting, right? Very, very interesting. Let's take a look at what this lawyer, the lead attorney, has to say about Carmelo Anthony's family adding additional years to his sentence.
That's why I'm here. I'm giving you the perspective, not of a YouTuber reacting to news, but of an attorney who's practiced for more than 20 years. This is behind the scenes info, so let's get to it. Now, let me explain on how Carmelo's mother basically sentenced her own son Carmelo to an extra 10 to 30 more years in prison, and what she can do about it now to try to fix it. I explained in my last video that Carmelo's mother apparently hired a family spokesperson, one Dominique Alexander.
Right.
This Dominique calls himself a minister of justice, whatever that is. Dominique is a convicted felon. He's alleged to have beaten his girlfriend. Then he got a new girlfriend. And when that girlfriend left out of the apartment, the good minister grabbed that woman's 2-year-old baby and shook him until that baby got brain damage. The good minister pled guilty in that case to felony charges and was in prison. Now, this is the man that Carmelo's mom chose to speak on Carmelo and the family's behalf. The good baby shaking minister. The minister did exactly what you would expect a convicted felon to do when handling Carmelo's case. He absolutely destroyed it. How? He ostracized the most important person in Carmelo's case. Now, who is that? Is that the judge? No. Is that the prosecutor? No. The most important person alive in Carmelo's case is actually Jeff Metcalf, the father of the young man that Carmelo Anthony killed, Austin Metcalf. The father, Jeff Metcalf, is the linchpin to Carmelo's entire future. Let me tell you that
he's right, because when it comes to sentencing, Jeff Metcalf could plea on Carmelo's behalf for a lesser sentence, but now he's not going to be in sentenced. I'm assuming that's what this lawyer is going to say.
Murder case where the victim is gone, the case lives on through the victim's next of kin. When a parent has to bury his child, everyone looks to that parent to gauge how to react. Judges consciously and subconsciously look at the parent's facial expression when they're testifying on the witness stand. Prosecutors run all their plea offers through the parents. Reporters knock on the parents' doors for statements, and they aim their cameras at the parents when the verdicts drop. And the jurors, oh my goodness. The jurors hang on every word of the parents. Notice every little movement, every gesture. In this case, Jeff Metcalf, the father, is not just a spectator in the case. He's the conscience of the entire community. If you win Jeff, you win all the sympathy. But if you alienate him, you can go to prison for life. Now, months ago, Jeff Metcalf.
Yeah, so that's where he's going. So the fact that Jeff Metcalf came out and wanted a lighter sentence.
Unthinkable.
Right.
Reporters, as they always do, shoved a microphone in this grieving father's face and asked him, how do you feel about this Carmelo Anthony? Do you know what he said? Jeff Metcalf said, and I quote, you know what? I've already forgiven this person. Already. Now, that is amazing. It's amazing that Jeff would have the strength to do that, because I would be incapable of that. The maturity, the wisdom, the strength, I just would not have it. Now, that baby shaking minister is not going to know this, but when a father makes a statement like that, a statement of forgiveness, the entire Carmelo team has to drop everything. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Your entire legal strategy has to change. I can tell you as an attorney that you call an emergency meeting with all the lawyers, all the family, maybe PR consultants if the family has means for that. You bring everyone together to get them on the same page and let them know that this case will revolve around one person, Jeff Metcalf, the father. So when Carmelo's mother heard what Jeff said about her son, what do you think that this lady did? She handed the microphone at a press conference to the baby shaking minister of justice.
Yeah, and I'll let you watch the rest of his video on that if that's what you to get more in depth. But like, he essentially makes the case that like you could have, you definitely could have had examples where the father came in and wanted leniency. Well, now they've alienated him. On top of that, they've brought in Charleston White to smear the family, to say that the son broke the dad's arm, to say that. I mean, all of these people, not to mention Drew Anthony, Carmelo's dad, apparently has been harassing reporters. All of the actions in and after this case have basically ensured a big sentence coming down for Carmelo Anthony, and I think he deserves it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, subscribe or follow down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.